consciously aware of what you're now aware of. Before, you didn't know what your emotions were telling you. You thought you just had to live with them. Before, you didn't realize that you could focus thoughts, although you've always been good at focusing thoughts. In fact, we will say to you that as we feel the vibration of people, we can feel that you have a very powerful mind. And it is always someone who has a strong ability to focus that tells us that they have strong patterns that go one way or the other. In other words, that's just a tribute to the ability that you have to focus. So now you say, I'm going to gently and gradually begin to retrain my focus into increasingly improved thought. And as you just make that effort, things will get better and better for you. So what was it about yesterday that you liked so much?
I was with a group of friends and we toured around Tortola and just had a wonderful time together.
And so what were the components of that somewhat magical day? You were in a new environment,
right?
So there were not thought forms or there were not patterns of thought about that environment.
True.
It was a different enough environment. In other words, do you hang around like that on a pretty regular basis, or was that a sort of new experience for you?
That was new.
And the particular combination of people and subjects that you talked about, was that new too?
Well, they're friends, so the people aren't all new. Some were new, some weren't.
But they were friends in a new environment, so interacting in a different way, yes?
Yes.
So are you telling us that if given a chance, that you can feel pretty frisky?
Yes.
In other words, if given a
Yes, I
chance
can.
in a sort of clean slate environment, you didn't even have to work that hard. Did you take a notebook and practice what you would say?
No.
Did you find yourself feeling sort of spontaneous?
Yes.
Did you laugh easily?
Yes.
Did you find yourself feeling appreciation for those ones who were with you?
And the beauty and the place and everything. It was wonderful.
And so we don't find you depressed. In this moment, even as you were thinking about yesterday, we find you pretty
Happy.
tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And so now you say, rather than saying, all of my life I've been depressed, now you begin telling a different story. Every day until yesterday. And that isn't even true, is it? Because it wasn't every day.
No, it was, I said most.
And so now, instead of saying most every day, you say, I've had days when I didn't feel so good, and I've had days when I felt pretty good, and I've had days that I feel wonderful, and I choose the wonderful feeling days, and I'm going to start pointing toward them. But you know, the one thing that we want you to hear from us that will help you more than everything else is we don't want you to beat up on yourself one bit about one of those not good feeling days. We want you to try to give yourself the benefit of the doubt by saying, I didn't know then what I know now. By saying, it's not the easiest thing to be in an environment where I'm used to thinking a certain way and change my thoughts all of a sudden. And I'm going to start looking for new environments. I'm going to remember the blue glass butterfly feather story, and I'm going to start putting myself in a position where I have more of a clean slate, where I can rediscover who I really am as this friskier being. And when I find myself on one of those thoughts that produces that mood that is so familiar, this time, instead of beating up on myself about it, I'm going to say, well, no wonder, look where I've been giving my thought. Let's see if I can nudge this thought into a little better feeling place. And if you'll spend 5 or 10 minutes on it, you will for sure. And eventually you will say to us, or to anyone who is listening to you, you know, I can hardly remember the last time that I didn't feel really good. Really.
That would be wonderful.
It will be easy for you, much easier than you have formerly thought. Now, do you want to take some subject and close the gap on it, or do you want to leave well enough alone and see if you can ride the wave of Tortola? It's up to you. We can go either way. In other words, we're really not trying to guide your decision.
Well,
Tortola, the rest of your life. Tortola, the rest of your life.
I just don't want the physical pain. That's all.
Well, you know, when you have thoughts, here is something that we really want you to hear. A woman said to us one day, Abraham, I've got all of these symptoms of all of these diseases. She'd been diagnosed with 2 or 3 frightening diseases. And she said, I have a friend who is so negative, who is not sick. She's healthy as a horse. She said, it's not fair because I'm pretty positive and I have all of this pain in my body and discomfort and diagnosis, and my friend who's much more negative, she should be the sick one and I should be the well one. And we said, well, there are 2 vibrational points of relativity that make up the way you feel in any moment, and your emotions are your first indicator, but beyond that is the way you feel, and beyond that is what manifests. So we said to her, when your life has caused you to expand into a place that you are for whatever reason not letting yourself go, there's a stronger vibrational discord. It's a stronger tug of war, and that's what is at the heart of physical discomfort. You see, when the cells of your body are seeking their balance, and they are all day, every day, as they ask for what they need selfishly, source energy answers it, and that energy begins moving to your trillions of cells. And if you're focused in a mood where you are happy, then you don't do anything vibrationally about blocking that signal, and your cells get just what they want. Have you ever sat on your foot and blocked off the flow of blood and oxygen to your body, and you can feel what your foot begins to go numb, and then when you stand up and allow the circulation, you can feel it beginning to go? Well, the energy flow is like that. It's always making an effort to go to the extremities of your cellular body. But when you are in a bad mood, or when you are worried about something, or when you are fearful about something, or when you feel not free about something, what happens is that powerful stream is hindered, and that is what physical discomfort is. That's what physical pain is. We say to our friends, if you've got negative emotion and you don't know it, you don't recognize that it's guidance, that it's an indication of vibrational relativity, and you don't do something about giving yourself relief and closing that gap, don't worry, it will get stronger.
Worse. And it does.
And if you still don't do anything about it, it will get stronger. And so what happens is, as you're standing in a place where you don't feel good, your contrasting life causes you to ask for still more. And if you're still beating this drum, then your crevasse is wider. And then as life causes you to still ask for more, but you are still beating this drum, then the crevasse is wider, until eventually that negative emotion becomes more than the sensation that you call emotion. It becomes the sensation that you call pain. And if you still don't do something about closing the gap, it becomes the physical diagnosis of something. And so now that you understand that, and you were speaking it to us as we were speaking it to you, you do understand that. Now what we are encouraging you to do is that when you feel physical discomfort in your body, try to smile about it as you are thinking about not having a happy face sticker stuck on your gas gauge. In other words, you're not covering it up. It's out there where you can see it. And laugh about it and say, this pain or this discomfort is my indication of my vibrational discord. And more important, it is letting me know that my cells are asking and that source is answering. In other words, help is on the way. And if I could chill out a little bit here, if I could remember Tortola, if I could chill out a little bit here, I could release enough resistance that those cells could get what they're asking for. You see, you don't want your cells to stop asking.
No.
You want your cells to keep asking. And you want source energy to keep answering the cell, which is the reason for the discomfort. Well, the reason for the discomfort is that you've got a thought going on that isn't allowing a smooth flow. But now you're thinking about the cells asking, and now you're thinking about source answering, and now you're thinking about help being on the way, and now you've changed the way you're looking at this. And now, even in that process, it is our expectation that even if you do not feel physical relief in that moment, you would begin to feel emotional relief. We were visiting with a friend who said, My hips hurt. I have arthritis in them. How can I think thoughts that feel good when I am in physical discomfort? And we said, we know it isn't easy, but you've got to figure out a way to do it. And she said, I know, but I can't figure out a way to do it. And we said, look at it this way. You've got two concurrent journeys happening here. In other words, you've got arthritis in your hips, which is giving you physical discomfort. That's just what is right now. That's like having the discomfort of not enough money. It's a reality that you cannot really ignore because it's vivid in your experience. It is happening, but it doesn't have to have your undivided attention. You can divide your attention between the action journey, which is the culmination of how you've been doing with your energy flow, and the emotional journey, which is what you're doing with your energy right now in this moment. So we said to her, it's possible to be in physical pain and feel hopeful, or to be in physical pain and feel discouraged or fearful. And we said, and there is a huge vibrational difference between fearful and hopeful. So if you can, in your pain, reach for thoughts of hope, or remember something pleasant which could take you even into appreciation, what happens is, for just a moment, you distract yourself vibrationally, and in that distraction, you allow the cells that are asking to receive a little more of what they've been asking for. And even though the physical relief may not sweep over you suddenly, gradually, it's improving, until one day you'll say to somebody, you know, the intensity of it is not so great, and the frequency of it is not so often. I think I'm getting a handle on this. And you are indeed, you see. Until eventually you just find yourself more and more inspired to the life-giving thoughts. And pretty soon your body starts to feel like your friend. You begin to see that in the same way that the universe cooperated with Esther and brought her blue glass and butterflies and feathers, because she had no negative attachment to any of them and she just focused upon them, that your negative attachment will have shifted so much that in the same way that the universe cooperated and brought her that, the universe will cooperate and bring you dexterity, flexibility. You'll find yourself lying in your bed realizing that you are in utter comfort. And that's something else that is really worth thinking about, because you know how sometimes you feel better than others?
Yes.
The time to think about your body is when it feels the best. In other words, don't work on it when it doesn't feel good and try to improve it. Bask in it when it feels a little better. You'll clean up your vibration far faster by basking in what feels good than in trying to improve what feels bad. And before you know it, you'll have your good feeling body. And we don't think that it is illogical that some of your bad mood has been about physical discomfort. Give yourself a break. But it's sort of a vicious cycle, isn't it? I'm ornery because I hurt, right. And now I hurt because I'm ornery. Right. And I'm ornery because I hurt, and now I hurt because I'm ornery. So now you want to say, I hurt, but I'm not ornery. I hurt, and I have the right to be ornery, and I have been ornery, and I'm even tempted to be ornery, but I don't feel so ornery because now I feel more hopeful. And I can give up a little of my orneriness for hopefulness. And in a week of that, you'll have enough physical evidence of that you'll say, I'm ornery because I can't control what you do and you make me feel ornery. But I can distract myself from what you're doing that I can't control and feel less ornery. In other words, it isn't your attention to your body that's holding you in this vibrational discord. It's your attention to other things that you feel you can't control. And in other words, we would like to say to you that what you know about vibration and your willingness to reach for better and better feeling thoughts is such that you could not start the condition now from what you know now and how you're vibrating now that you are experiencing, but you can keep it going with the degree of negative attention that you're giving. So it's going to be far easier to clean this up than you might think. You don't have to go back and rework it, and you don't have to go back and figure out what was causing the negative emotion every step along the way. You just have to make a slight effort in more moments to feel just a little better. And it is our promise to you that you will.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.